The ninja's combat art was called taijutsu. This is the art of using the body. Enormous endurance, the ability to take a hit, the ability to climb where nobody else could climb. This is a part of the historical training. That kind of intense training was just the foundation.
The ninja often operated under tremendous physical and mental stress, where the price of failure was death. To prepare, mind and body were trained until a ninja's edge was sharper than the blade they wielded.
In Japan, you don't ask questions, you wait to get the answers. So you get in the dojo, the first day you just learn some postures. You're like, what's this for? Well, you're already not learning if you're asking the question. In America, we want to ask questions. Well, you know, how do you do this? How do you do that? In Japan, you just train, and your teacher will give you those answers through learning. Sensei said that it takes, about 15 to 20 years to even get to that level. Perseverance to continue.
It is human nature to seek answers. The ninja often learned from what was unsaid, left to search for meaning while pondering the motives of the masters. It was a difficult and vital step on the path to enlightenment.
Itagaki just seems to have that personality and demeanor that he wants to create something that's really good but really challenging. And you're almost not just trying to beat the game, but you're trying to appease him and get his approval if you can actually survive.
I hate people that don't do their best. So when I'm challenging something and when I have a goal, I put everything that I have and all of my time into achieving that goal.
With Itagaki's games and with Team Ninja's production quality, it's never so much as simple as just working your way from one level to the next. There's always more stuff going on. There's always subquests to do and secrets to find and that kind of thing.
In Ninja Gaiden II, you come to this gap in your path. A new user to the game isn't going to know that you're supposed to do the wall run to get past this gap. They're going to just kind of stand there and wonder what to do. Well, instead of just throwing up some tutorial text to say, here's how you do the wall run, they ended up having some enemies run towards them, do the wall run themselves, and then users were able to see that, defeat the enemies, do the wall run to get across that gap and keep playing the game. It's a great example of Team Ninja being able to create these engaging experiences that are teaching people how to play the game.
When Ninja Gaiden, the first one, was going through certification, they actually had to fly in a guy from Team Ninja to play the game for us because nobody here could get through us. And these are, game testers, people who play games for a living, and even they were just like, dude, call Japan, we need some help.
It challenges your sense of yourself as a gamer. Like, man, can I really play this game?
I picked up that game pretty early on. It kicked my butt a whole lot more than games of that ilk, which I kind of like that. I kind of like a game that pushes you to your limits.
I kept on playing and trying to get past it. That's usually the good indicator that even if a game is difficult, that it's still well made, is that you don't put down the controller and walk away from it. It was just me until 3 o'clock in the morning, fighting. And when you finally did get through it, you just felt like a hero.
People may say that it's a masterpiece, or people may say that they had issues with it, or people may have had parts where they were frustrated by it. The key, I think, for us is that we want to make something that people are waiting for.
A lot of people believe the first game was difficult in a frustrating way. One of our goals in the beginning of development was to approach it in a way that we could make the game accessible to as many gamers as possible.
The fact that there's this regenerating health bar that a lot of people associate with traditional style games like shooters, where you go run into a corner and you wait for your health to come back. And that change and the way that he's implementing it is a way to allow non-hardcore gamers to get into the game and play it and not feel deeply punished But if you set it to the most difficult setting, it's not going to interfere. It's not going to be a different Ninja Gaiden experience in terms of the difficulty if you want it to be hard.
Hajime Sensei teaches that ninjutsu is the art of 1,000 forms and infinite variations. The weapons of the ninja were as diverse as they were deadly.
The ninja would employ tools that fit into the community in a way that maybe they didn't even look like a weapon.
We've got a number of great new weapons that are making their first appearance in Ninja Gaiden 2. The goal is to make every weapon good enough that you want to play the entire game through it. And you're going to feel like you're having a unique experience each time. We have the scythe.
What this is a long, heavy, powerful weapon that Hayabusa can wield that has a very large area of effect. It has a very wide arc. This is something that is very fun to wield, and it's very satisfying in terms of just being able to cut through enemies.
There are the claws.
What this basically does is turn Hayabusa into a human weapon.
He can run on walls, he can jump. Claws allow him to apply that to fighting.
All of his martial arts and all of his athletics and acrobatics are able to be used to attack the enemy.
The long bow, back in ancient times, was about 6 feet tall, which is actually taller than the people in those days. And it was a great weapon because they were everywhere, a walking staff. It didn't attract a lot of attention.
The lunar staff was a weapon that has appeared in previous games. Before, it was really just a staff. In Ninja Gaiden 2, it is a staff that has iron weights on each end that are connected with chains. And each of these iron weights have spikes, so, as you can imagine, as you're swinging this thing around, it is incredibly lethal.
The kusarigama was a very interesting weapon. On one end would be a blade on a handle sticking out, long chain, and on the end of the chain would be a weight.
The cool thing about this weapon is you can not only do cutting attacks with the sickle portion of it, but you can also do pulverizing and smashing attacks with the iron weight that's attached on the end.
And so in the heat of battle, this weight thrown at an attacker would hit, aiming at the hands, very fragile bones there, holding a sword, or the face, something that would make that attacker flinch. Could you imagine the terror that the swordsman felt? And all of a sudden, here's this hit to the face. Where did that come from?
You have the tonfa. It was what the nightstick is based off. You hold them in each hand and it's swung to hit enemies. And this is really cool because it's a hitting action, not a slicing action. So when that connects with an enemy, you're gonna feel that crack.
These are weapons of Okinawan origin. You hold them in both hands and swing them. They're very similar to the claws in that they're very speedy and can hit the enemy multiple times. With the tonfas, you can actually pulverize a limb into basically ground meat.
Very important to combat in ancient Japan was the Japanese sword, the katana. It was used on foot by samurai in late